Uh-oh. So I just realized that my mute button was clicked. So I apologize. I'll start over. So what we're going to be doing, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for letting me know there, Tim. I appreciate you. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building this chart. If we go back here, we're going to be building this. So this is the third installment of our dashboard series here. We can see here that we've got a line chart for each of our measures. We've got a line for basically everything in this view here. And what we're going to be doing is we can see here if we select Missouri, we get a selected line here. Additionally, if we select a dot in the scatter plot, that it also updates the line chart here. So that is what we're going to be. That's what we're going to be building today. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So I've just started from my thing here, and we're going to go ahead, and I think probably the best way to get started, obviously, is we're going to get our we're going to unhide all of our fields, and we need our order date. So I'll unhide order date, and we'll do continuous month. And we need to do I did the sales and the profit ratio like here. And remember these fields that I'm using, if you've done this or if you haven't been following along, this is going to be basically the median sales for each state. And the way that we are going to be using this, and those values, those fields were actually used to create this. And since if we look back at his example, we are just plotting the sales values and profit ratio values for these. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do that, and then I will throw my, which was it here? We'll go ahead and, so yeah, state level. State level will be used on detail, and that's going to give us a line. Okay. So we're getting straight lines for all of those, but we're not getting straight lines for the median. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see. Fixed median. What would we do if we did include state? Hey, there we go. So we're going to change this. Now what we need to make sure before we get too far along here is that our values don't change. So they didn't change. So let's talk about this. So let's go ahead and change our change this. This is, again, another great use case for level of detail expressions. This one we're using include as opposed to the fix. Before last week we did fixed because that's what we needed at the time. But now we're going to get to learn about the include level of detail expression. And so if I change that, so there we go. And let's just do a quick check to make sure based on his, we've got so we've got some negative values. So those lines look pretty in line with what we're talking about. So let's talk about why this include level of detail expression works for this. Because remember, if we said before, if I just write the same thing, median, if I just copy and paste this, it's going to be better if I show this. And what I'll do real quick is I'll bump this up, so hopefully you can see that. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do here is, and then we changed this to fixed. That's what this was last week, was fixed. Okay. So what we're saying with this fixed originally last week is for each state, do the sum of sales and then take the median of that. Now, and that worked because that's all that we needed to do. But now by switching it to include, the include statement says for all dimensions in the view and state, do the sum of sales and median. So this is where if we look at the if you look at the Tableau here, let's pull that up. Let's pull up the Tableau order of operations, and we'll take a look at where fixed level of detail and include and exclude. So if you have not saved this, you definitely need to print this out. I used to have this whenever I was new in Tableau. I had this printed out and I had it taped on my bulletin board so that I always saw it. So fixed level of details happen pretty high up in the order of operations, and then we have include and exclude, which is down here after dimension filters. Now, so if we go back here and we look at this, include means we have month of order date as a dimension in our view. And the fixed says that we're not going to take anything in the view. We're only going to be doing it explicitly, saying I'm only doing it at the level of whatever I include in here, right? But by changing this to include, I can take anything in the view, and even if state is not included in the view, it's going to include it. So it's like, hey, for everything in the view, do this calculation, but also include the dimension of state in any aggregations. So that's why this is working. And the good thing is because if we go back, and you may be thinking, well, why didn't this change and why didn't this change? Even though these are using the exact same calculations, the reason that they didn't change is because I don't have anything else in the view. I just have this in the view, so it's essentially doing the same thing as a fixed. But with the include, and then conversely, if I wanted to exclude, the exclude works in the same fashion, just in the converse of include, right? It says for all views, for all dimensions in the view, do this aggregation, but exclude state, even if state is in the view, right? So that can be a really interesting use case for include and exclude calculations. Okay, but back to this. We've got our line charts. They're looking good. And now I think what I can do is I can take my top level here and I can go ahead and drop that on color. And just like we thought, we were going to have, we have a line for each here. We also have a line for the other, which is, we also have a color line for other, and we also have our selected state here. So now if we go ahead and expand this, I think we did, if we go back and look at the requirements, and I'll go ahead and drop this link in the chat for everyone. Let me see where that's at here. There we go. So if you need the link to the Tableau order of operations, you can get it from right there. Okay. So let's go look at the requirements and see how big we're going to make this. 1050 by 800. Okay, so we're going to go bump this up a height of 800. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we are going to drop a vertical container in here because he said to use containers, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to drop our sales in here, and then we're going to take our, we'll rename it while we're here too. We'll call this trend, and we'll drop it right below to make that. We'll get rid of this because we know what those are. Just like that. And that is, and now what we need to do is we need to play with the order, because we have outlier states as on top. So we're going to change the Z order of our filters here. So that's what we're going to do there. And what we're going to do now is we also need to have, let's see, so create a line chart, sales and profit by month, selected states, reference box state, and one line for outliers. We've done that. The selected line should be thicker than the others, okay? So in order to do that, we can take our selected state here, true, false, and we can drop it on size. And obviously it drops that, and that might be a little bit too aggressive. So let's go ahead and change this a little bit so that it's not as in your face. Oh, yeah. So we'll do this. And apply. Let's see what that does. Kind of bring everything in a little bit. There we go. Well, that. No, don't throw that away. Let's do this. It's weird because this line is not changing here. Maybe it's because we'll do that maybe, and then we'll just kind of play with this. It's weird that it's not. It looks like the selected line is not changing at all. There it did. Okay. So now we'll bring this guy back. There we go. And now we can kind of play with this just to make it look the way we want. We don't have any, the size mark is always kind of arbitrary. Like you just kind of eyeball it. It'd be really cool if we could have some data-driven size on there, but we can't. So we just kind of have to eyeball it, make it look good. All right, so we're doing that. It looks good. Let's see. It's still kind of thick. So let's do some more here. So this is where we kind of have to play with it. The size on the worksheet, I've found in my experience, the size on the worksheet rarely ever matches the size on the dashboard, which is unfortunate, but it's the way it is. So we gotta live with it, right? So, all right, let's see what that looks like. Again, there's no right or wrong. We're pretty much all the way there. And now let's just make sure, let's do some checking to make sure that we have some, yep, so that's working now, which is nice. And there we go. So now when I select things, it's working the way that it should. So now the last thing I think that we need to figure out is how to get the selection when we select something here. And so if you remember on the tab here, so this is if we go here, we've got that part, it's going to reload, and we do, so you can see here, if you look when I select on a bar, it kind of changes to show the selected bar that you've done. So we're kind of doing two things at once, and I think the way that I'm going to go about this is I'm going to do there's a couple different ways I can do this. So this is going to be a dual axis but it's going to be based on my state level. I'm going to do create a set, and I'll just pick Nevada for now, and I'll say trend line. And make sure that Nevada's not selected, which it's not. And then I'll just create a couple new calculations. This will be bar selected sales, which is if my trend line set is true, then give me my P sales or B sales, and else null. And that's aggregated, so we need to aggregate this guy, so max true. Just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead, so here's another quick tip for you when you're doing dual axis charts. So there's a couple different ways to do it. My favorite way is to click and drag my field, and I don't drag it up to rows. It's just an extra step. So I go ahead and I drag it onto the secondary axis where I want to drop it. So you can see I got a dashed line over there on the secondary axis, so I drop it there. And then I select synchronize. Obviously, we got to synchronize. And then let's see here. We've got this guy. We don't need top level. We don't need selected. Yes. So now we just need to, so now what we've done, if we look at the colors here, is we've created a combined color. So we have selected state and sales, outlier state sales, and highlighted state sales. And the reason for that is because Tableau thought that maybe we wanted measure names on there, but we don't. So we'll go ahead and deselect that, and now you can see that we've got this selected line here, right? And so we've got the selected line, the black line, that's the selected dot in our scatter plot, and then we have this gray line, which is the selected bar in the trend bar, or in the value bar. And then down here, so now we just need to do the exact same thing to this. And so I have B selected sales. I'm going to duplicate this and do B selected profit ratio. I'll just do PR for now, and then I'll change this to B profit ratio. There we go. And now we'll just go here, and it's going to do it again. It's a couple extra clicks, but that's okay. We'll synchronize. We'll go here. We'll take off measure names off of color, just like that. All right. And we'll get rid of our, so we have this null indicator here. So you could clicking on the null indicator will say filter data or show data 0. We don't want to do either of those. We just want to hide the indicator. So if you right click on that null indicator, you can click hide. Let's go ahead and get rid of our secondary axis now that we've synchronized everything. And now you can see I've got that. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go on my dashboard. I'm going to create a new action. I'm going to create a set action, change set values action, call this selected bar highlight. Okay, it is going to be from only my profit ratio versus sales. That is the only one that I want to click on to have change. The target set is going to be the trend line set. And what I need to do now is running the action will assign values to the set. Clearing the selection will remove all values from the set. Click OK. You can see I had an error here. And it said missing field on profit ratio versus sales. Click OK. That's here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this trend line and we're going to put it on detail. So now that trend line is there, we're going to go to dashboard. We're going to check our actions to make sure that it works, to make sure that we don't have an error there anymore. Still missing a field. Missing state level. Okay. That's interesting. We have missing field on profit ratio versus sales. Click OK. Click on that. Missing field on missing state level. Okay. But I have state level. It's right there. Yeah.
Animal upon animal. Animal upon animal.
Let's see. Did I do it? I may not have done it right. Let's see. Top level. Let's see. Well, that's weird. All right. Well. The other thing we can do if this doesn't work is we can just go create another parameter action. We'll have to change a few things a little bit. That's okay. We'll click on profit ratio versus sales. Target ratio. We need to do that. Let's do that. Standard. Entire view. There we go. But I really want to get this to work. I'd really like to get that to work. I don't know why it's not. Let's see, what does this tell us? Nope, not that. This guy. If we put that out there, why isn't this working? Yeah. And worksheet actions. Let's do it on the worksheet level. Let's do selected bar on profit ratio versus sales. Trend line set. No, that's not it. Let's see. Set actions can be kind of funky sometimes, so that's generally why I tend to use parameter actions more, because that should work. Because I have it on here. Show set. Let's go here, see if I can get this to work. Actions. And still says I don't have it. Missing field, state level, it's right there. Huh. Okay, well, I'm not going to waste my time thinking about this anymore. So we'll remove that. We're going to have to go back to the drawing board here. So we'll create a parameter, call it a string field, call it selected state. We'll just make it blank for now. And now what we'll do is go to our trend chart, add we'll do state level, selected state parameter equals selected state. Nope. Or no, this will just be this. No, it's Superstore selected state. Selected state equals state. Okay. So now on B sales, that goes away. Why does that go away? Let's see. Oh yeah, I need to change my BR. I need to change my measures here. Let's see. Oh yeah. If my selected state parameter equals something in state. Well, I don't want that because that's going to be, well, yeah, this should be okay. Okay. And so that worked for that. So now we'll just go back to BR. Copy that logical statement here. Click OK. Profit ratio. There. Click OK. That makes that go away, which is good. Now if we go back here, we'll create a new dashboard action. Remove the set action. Change parameter on the profit ratio trend on the selected state from the state field. No aggregation. When clearing, set to nothing. Click OK. Let's see. And that's not working either. Okay, let's do, oh yeah, because I need to put something here. On detail. Or on color here. Yep. And on color here. Okay. So now when I select this, let's see, do I get something to change? No. Why not? Dashboard actions. change this. When you select that, okay, let's see what my parameters are here. Selected state. Nope, that's not working because I don't have. Okay. So here, what do we put? Sales on detail. Whoa, that didn't work. Okay. So, oh, I know what it needs to be. This. If we go back, well, clearly I don't know what it needs to be. But this is the fun part of doing these live streams is we get to see some country, region, state, non-profit ratio, but I don't have state on there. Let's see. Let's see here. Because when I select that, nothing changes. And the reason nothing changes is because I don't have the state dimension. So, and I can't, and state level is not an option. Right, so we go dashboard or worksheet actions on profit sales dashboard. That's because I'm on the wrong. I had it on the wrong thing. So I bet if I go back, see, this is why it's important to know what you're doing. If we go back all the way to when I was using sets. Come on. I had my, that's what it was. Golly dogs. Context is the sheet named not profit ratio. This, yeah. So we'll go back here. Remove this. Whoa. Where did Tableau go? Oh, went over to my other screen. All right. Okay, set actions. Dashboard. Actions. Not on profit ratio, on context. See? Look, I just selected the wrong sheet name. Golly dogs. Okay, I apologize. But that's real. That's real life, man. If it was just all perfect, then we wouldn't be learning anything. It would just be me showing off. So there you go. All right, so the lessons for today is make sure you select the correct sheets when you're setting up your actions. Okay. Now it's working because I have everything on there. So when on the context sheet, which is the one up here, when I select something on there, I want to put that dimension into my trend line set. I want to assign that value to the set, and when I clear the selection, I want to remove all values from the set. Let's click OK, click OK. Now you can see we have Nevada here. But now, and the reason that's still selected is because I hard-coded. When I set this original set up, I hard-coded that value. I didn't have an action, but now we do have actions to it. So now when I select Connecticut, so it was Nevada, but when I select Missouri, you'll see down here that see how that changed to Missouri? And it's going to stay that way until I clear the selection, which is selecting anywhere in the white space of the chart. I select that, it deselects, and now we're back to normal. So, good gracious. If you're following along, I apologize if you're on the live stream, I apologize for how confusing that was. But It's the way it goes. So, but now we can see why that works. So we select Wisconsin, and there's our Wisconsin line right there. We deselect, and there it is right there. Okay? So that is the majority of it. The rest of it is going to just be some formatting. So we've got the yep. So let's go in here. We'll go here. We'll do this. We'll do our state level. It's like a 14. Let's see, what did we have here? What's next? The date. That's like a 12. Maybe that's like a book bold. On a 10. Yeah, that looks good. And then down below we have the value, which is, yep. This will be sales. And that will be our value. Include command buttons, get rid of that. Let's look at this. Yep. So that looks good. What we'll do here is we'll copy this. Go down to B profit ratio. Paste. Paste center. Change out our thing to profit ratio. Change this to profit ratio. And there we go, just like that. Whew. So let's make sure everything's working. Select a state. Changes our line. Changes our bars. Select a bar. We get the highlighted state. Clear the selection. We return to normal. That looks good. All right, so there you go. So what did we learn about? Recap. We learned the importance of setting up your actions correctly, making sure you select the right sheets. We learned about the include and exclude level of detail calculation. We learned what the differences are. We learned a little bit about the Tableau order of operations. And at the end of this, we created a wonderful dashboard for that you can implement lots of different parts and pieces of into your workflow. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. And we will talk to you all next week. Thanks so much.